Hey y'all. How y'all doing today? Hope everyone is doing well and ready for this holiday season. I know I am. I'm super excited. I don't have to cook this year, so yeah, it's lit. It's super, super, super lit. Oh, I'm not cooking this year, girl. I'm going to well, where do you live at? Hey girl, where you live at now? Are you still in West? Cause we're gonna be uptown tomorrow at my auntie house. Yeah, cause I ain't cooking this year. I'm so excited about that. All I gotta do is show up with dessert and a bottle. Oh, I didn't go get the bottle. Yeah. It's not going to be at my mom's house. That's why. My mom's not cooking Thanksgiving dinner. It's going to be at my auntie house. That's why. Because you know she be throwing down. I'm at her house now. She's over there making me some cake. Why is it that grandmoms always have sweets? Excuse me. Grandmoms always have sweets. Always. I'm in my daddy chair. Hold on. Let me see if I can get some. The lighting here is like horrible, so I'm trying to see if this thing is going to work. Thank you. This thing doesn't want to cooperate with me. Oh, yeah. The party at my mom's house last time was for sure lit as heck. For sure. I actually don't know when the next time we're going to have something at my mom's house, but I will let her know that you said hi. Beefing over the last patty. Yes. That was hilarious. Oh my God, I forgot you all were here for the holiday. Okay, so, excuse me. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Today we are talking earnest money. Now, if you haven't bought a house before, earnest money deposit is literally just a good faith deposit that you give to the seller showing them that you are extremely interested in purchasing the house. So it's kind of like a down payment, in a sense where that money is deducted from the proceeds that you have to bring to the table. And that's just in the sense that it's the down payment. Sorry, we got some stuff going on over here. But that is what an earnest money deposit is. It's literally, once you get under contract, you then have to, within a certain amount of days. So normally this is the process. Sorry, guys. I'm like literally, I got some stuff going on over here in the background. So it's taking my focus away from you. But anyway, back to this. So the earnest money is like a good faith. So when you're buying a house, first step is, going to see the house, submitting a contract. Once the seller agrees to move forward with your contract, when they accept your offer, you have a certain amount of time to put a deposit. It's normally 5 days. You can give it sooner, you could give it later, but the standard is about 5 days for you to get the deposit, to bring the deposit in. Okay, somebody was trying to call me. Somebody was trying to call. So you have to put it down within 5 days. Regardless of, you can put it in sooner, you can put it in later, you can put down 2 deposits, but the first deposit should always be in within 5 days. I've had clients back when the market was like going super crazy. We would get our inspections done within like the first 3 to 5 days, as opposed to the 10 days that you get with home inspections. And the deposits, we would do it within like 48 hours or 72 hours. It really was all depending on the house, how long it was on the market, other things like that. But for the most part, the earnest money, it is standard, even if you have an option where they say no down payment. For example, like with VA loans, you don't have to put a down payment down, but the only way a seller will actually take the house off the market is if you put down keep the house off the market, let me say that, is if you give a deposit. If you do not give the deposit, you are in breach of contract. You don't want to be in breach of contract. But that is something, a good faith deposit to the seller, and it doesn't go directly to the seller. It goes to the title company, or it goes to the brokerage that is facilitating the deal on either side. Like I've done some deals where the seller side do not want to receive the brokerage, so either my brokerage or the title company that we are using, they would be the ones that would be holding on to that deposit. Oh, bummer. I'm having so many technical difficulties today, guys. So I just ask that y'all bear with me. Yeah. But basically backing up your offer with cash, they're more likely to trust you, that you're going forward. We normally do 5%, of whatever the purchase price is. A lot of times I've received offers that were like $1,000. My seller is not taking a house off the market for $1,000 deposit. Because if you back out or you breach the contract and it's not because of one of the contingencies, which we're going to talk about in a second, you can lose your deposit. And if we've done a lot of work and kept the property off the market for a little bit, that deposit does go to the seller. A portion of the deposit goes to the seller if the deal doesn't go through. So the earnest money deposit, like I said, is held either by the brokerage or the title company in escrow until closing. Under certain circumstances, you can get your deposit back. So when you're putting in an offer, there's several contingencies or ways that you can back out of the deal. The first one is the inspection contingency. So basically, if you go and you get an inspection and you're not satisfied with the property or you don't want to move forward, you can back out of the deal using the inspection contingency and get your deposit back. The other option is the appraisal contingency. If you go forward with a house and the house does not appraise, and you and the seller cannot negotiate terms to be able to get to that appraisal price, whether it's the seller coming down, reducing the purchase price to the appraisal price, or if it's you covering the gap in between the purchase price and the appraisal price, something has to work where you guys can agree. If you cannot, you can also back out of the deal and you can get your funds back as long as you have the appraisal contingency in there. Another way is the financing contingency. So if you are getting a mortgage, you would elect and say on the offer that, hey, I'm using a mortgage, whether it's FHA, conventional, whatever. You put on a mortgage that, hey, I need financing. This purchase is contingent on me getting some financing. So if your financing falls through and it's within the deadline, you are able to get your money back. You just have to work with your agent to draft up the information and you'll be able to get your money back. What happened?
I'm going to need 2 minutes. Put it on mute.
I can't put it on mute, Mom. I'm in the middle of a live. You guys. My mom is the funniest ever. If you come over to my personal page, Miss Ladybug 1311, there are times where I put my mom in my story and everybody's always laughing because she is a piece of work. I told her before I did this that, Mom, I'm going to be recording a live. Okay, I need you to turn down. She just told me to pause this so that because she needs me for 2 minutes. Mom, give me 10 minutes, and I can give you 2 minutes. I'm sorry, guys. But yeah, the last way to back out of the deal is the financing contingency. So so if you're not able to get financing, if it falls through, whether it's traditional lending or private lending, there is a way for you to get your deposit back if it's elected on there that you're using financing and this purchase is contingent on financing. Another way for you to get the money back is if the seller decides that they don't want to sell the house no more, you're under contract, you are obviously obligated to your money back at that time. But yeah, so those are some of the ways that you can get your money back if you do, if you put the deposit down and, it doesn't work out. Those are ways that you can actually get your money back. I've actually had deals where I had a deal probably just a couple years ago. I haven't had a deal fall through in a while, but this was a couple years ago. I had a deal for one of my sellers. She was selling a house in North Philly. And there was an investor buying the deal, and they had put down a deposit, and I guess they realized at the last minute or wanted to back out of the last minute. It was like a 2 to 3 week sale turnaround time. They ran title real quick, and then the day of settlement, they just didn't show up. They literally just didn't show up, and said that they were no longer interested in the house. And then, but because they did not show up, and there was no contingencies, they didn't elect any contingencies at all, they lost their deposit. So they had to sign off on a document saying that they were okay with them releasing the deposit to the seller. That's another thing. In order for the deposit to be released once you go on the contract, both sides have to agree for it to be released. So you can't just say, it happened because of X, Y, and Z. I want my deposit back. You can't just get your deposit back. The seller can't just keep your deposit. There literally has to be a document that is signed by both sides that says, hey, the deposit can be released to this individual. So in that particular case, I I told them, I'm like, hey, you guys are not showing up. Obviously you're forfeiting the deposit. They were like, yeah, that's fine. Send over the documents. We'll sign off for it. And they forfeited the deposit. And in that case, in the contract that I had with the seller, if something happens and the deal falls through and the seller is entitled to it, the brokerage gets half. So we split the deposit in half. We put the house back on the market. I think the house was on the market for 2 days. Like I put it back on the market that same day, but then I blasted it out to a bunch of investors that I know that was buying, and literally they used the same title company, and we closed, I want to say it was like 9 days later. We were able to close the deal. So of course the seller was happy with me, because even though we didn't sell it to the previous person, we still were able to sell it in less than like 30 days. So it all worked out for her. I need to read Real Estate for Dummies because my head be spinning when you be explaining. Well, I have a couple books that I can refer to you in regards to real estate to help you get up to speed, I guess. I'll send you them. I got them at the house. There's 2 books in particular that I'm thinking of in my head. I know the cover when I see it. I don't know the names. But once I get to the house, what I'll do is I'll find them and I will drop them in the comments and pin it so that you'll be able to see the books. Yeah, so that is Earnest Money Deposit. In summary, it is a deposit that you give to take the house off the market to show that you are really, really, really interested in getting the property that you're looking to buy. Sometimes, like I've actually had offers that had such a high deposit that it was just like, woo, this person is really interested, because it shows that you have skin in the game and that you're really interested in buying a property. I actually had an offer that was passed up. I had a buyer that I was working with, and they passed up on her offer and it wasn't even our offer was the same as somebody else's. It's just the other person was putting an additional, I think they were putting down like $15,000, and my client was putting down $5,000. So they're like, we're going to go with this one but from what the seller's agent told me, I can't, obviously I don't know for a fact, but from what the seller's agent told me, their offers were similar. But, if your buyer can put down a higher deposit, I can push for yours. And I'm like, no, we're not going to do that. We ended up getting them another house, a house that was actually bigger, that cost less. It was a much bigger house in the suburbs that cost less than the house that we originally put an offer in on. But that's how it all works. That's how it works out sometimes. So you can get your earnest money deposit if you back out using one of the contingencies or the seller decides not to sell. The earnest money deposit is also deducted from the balance that you owe. So, if you had to bring $18,000 to the table and you put a deposit down of, $8,000, you would then only have to bring $10,000 to the table. So the earnest money is not in addition to what you bring to the table. That is actually deducted from, what you have to bring to the table. Does anybody have any questions? I don't want your head to be spinning. But yeah. So thank you guys for joining me on this Real Estate Wednesdays. Tamaya, I am going to, like I said, find those 2 books, pin them in the comments, just so that you can have those to keep up. And you can always ask me questions. You always can call me or text me, ask me questions. I got you. But thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Real Estate Wednesdays, where we do a deep dive on our Monday Minute. Check us back here on Monday for another Monday Minute, and on Wednesday, the following Wednesday at 6 p.m. for our Real Estate Wednesdays. I hope you guys have a happy holiday. Enjoy your family. There's so much going on in the world right now. And there's so much going on with even people that I know, that we need to cherish our loved ones and be thankful each and every day for the blessings that we have. The blessings of life, the blessings of family and friends, the blessings of just peace and joy and love. Like, outside of the materialistic things that we have, we still have to be grateful and thankful just for being able to wake up and get up out of bed, being able to put your shoes on by yourself, being able to walk. I'm so grateful that I can get up and be super independent and drive around, and I have my own house, and I can go and lay down, and it's cold outside, and it's going to be 30 degrees tonight, but guess what? I'm going to sleep in a warm house, and I am forever thankful for that. So just be thankful in this holiday season, because there are a lot of people who are missing their loved ones. I know I am. I'm missing my grandmother, and a very, very, very close friend of mine's mother has passed away, and it's like devastating yesterday. So just keep them in prayers. Keep the Mangum and Costner family in prayer as they're like suffering the loss of their mom during this holiday season. So just be blessed. Enjoy. Try not to eat too much tomorrow. I don't know if I can say the same for myself, but yeah. Have a great Wednesday, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.